Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade. Welcome to our weekly webinar and a special welcome to new people. The title of the webinar, as you could see, Trading Prospects, Mapping Out the Week Ahead. In simple words, what we're trying to do is to create a plan. And as I like to quote some traders, when they say you plan, you trade, and then you trade your plan. It makes things more organized, less chaotic, less spontaneous, and hopefully more successful. Few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I've been trading for 24 years, started as a prop trader in New York City in June of 2000. And then after 11 years of intense prop trading, I moved away from it. And of course, I continue trading. And also, I'm very happy to have a great opportunity to assist our customers at AvaTrade. Agenda, very simple, the same thing every week. We talk about indices, stocks, commodities, forex. Also, we'll discuss some fundamentals. I'll share with you a few slides. We'll talk about the economic calendar, the upcoming events that are very important to pay attention to. And we mix a little bit fundamentals with technicals. A risk warning, you can find a full statement at avatrade.com. Of course, everything we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. Social media, you have the channels that would be great for you to subscribe and follow. You have a Telegram, you have X, which used to be Twitter, and the YouTube channel. As I always say, it's my favorite. You have a lot of useful information there, including tutorials, educational materials, and the webinars. And some of you might be watching this on YouTube. And if you are watching this and you do like it, please don't forget to click on likes. I have a lot of views and much less likes. So if you really like it, please click. It takes just a split of a second. And also, please feel free to share it with your friends if you feel that they could benefit from this. And that's it pretty much. Let's move on. So a few things I want to show to you. These are the articles. You can find them at marketwatch.com. This is the nice article about NVIDIA. It shows, I mean, NVIDIA was all over the news. It's been all over the news. It's all about artificial intelligence, and they are the major provider of technology. So the stock's been breaking all the charts. We just had a split. So split adjusted price came out on Monday at 120. We're trading around 130, 131. The stock continues moving higher. And the article talks about things that not everything is about NVIDIA and AI and some other things. So if you have time and interest, you can read the article. It would be very interesting. And here comes the Tesla. As I always say, excuse me, that Tesla and Elon Musk, they always have some surprises under the sleeves. And this is the recent thing about Tesla. Let's read it together really quick. If you thought Kathy Wood's 2,600 target for Tesla, by the way, Kathy Woods, this is the CEO, and she's running the fund, ARCA, I think the name of it. So she has a target 2,600. So we'll continue reading. Aggressive, wait till you hear that CEO Elon Musk believe Tesla is worth down the line. Wood's number, 2029 target released on Wednesday, works out to roughly 8 trillion market value, with about 1 trillion plus for the car company, 5 trillion or more for the autonomous driving technology, and the rest spread around the Tesla other businesses, including stationary power storage. Musk endorsed her view, excuse me, of autonomous driving on Thursday at his company's annual shareholder meeting. By the way, we had that, you know, they were discussing his pay as well. I'm continuing reading, adding that humanoid robot business could be bigger. Tesla is building an artificial intelligence trained labor-saving humanoid robot called Optimus that could be used in factories to assemble around the clock or used in homes to make life a little easier. I think when large-scale volume is reached, Tesla would basically take about 1 trillion of profit a year from Optimus, said Musk. If you price earning multiples is say 20 or 25, something like that, it would mean 20 trillion to 25 trillion market cap from Optimus alone. Okay, let's see. I mean, it's nice fantasy, but everything that sounds fantasy at some point becomes reality. So let's see how that works out. Definitely after these numbers, we might see some activities in Tesla stock. We'll take a look at the charts when we get there. Okay, economic calendar. It's very important to mention that, especially for new people, knowing about these events very important. The way you use them, it's all individual. Some trade into it, some avoid the time that events are being announced and so on. But knowing this is very important for a very simple reason. You want to be prepared and not to be caught off guard when certain things are happening. So here, I do take out just the high impact events. There's so much more. You can filter through them. You can find the economic calendar on our web trader or the app or any provider. It's all public information. Everybody's reporting the same numbers. So here, like I said, high impact events only. Very important before I go into it, so I don't forget, Wednesday, it's the day off. It's a holiday, national holiday in the US. It's a very fresh holiday. I think it's been around for 2 years. It's been set up by President Biden, I think, and it called Juneteenth Day. And you can Google it and find out what the history, something to do with the end of slavery and other things. So the US markets are going to be closed, but the futures are trading some extended hours. You can find information on our website if you go to trading info and then holiday hours, and you can see specific things and look for what interesting you. But very important to keep in mind that Wednesday, the stock market, so the shares are not going to be trading on that day, on the 19th, the Wednesday. Okay, important. So economic calendar, again, high impact only I have shown here, and you can search and look for things that are relevant to your trading again. So Monday we have industrial production, retail sales from China. Tuesday, important for Australian dollar, have interest rate decision from Australia and a statement and the press conference, followed by retail sales from US, also important number. I mean, everything is important. Again, I'm repeating myself, but this is the high impact only events. Wednesday, CPI numbers from UK, GDP numbers from New Zealand. Again, Wednesday, no US market. Thursday, interest rate decision from Swiss National Bank. Just to remind us, they were the first one and the only so far that the last meeting they cut the rates. So let's see what's happening. By the way, we'll take a look at the Swiss franc. It's been super strong lately. Bank of England, we have also interest rate decision with all the data and also the statement and other things. And that, so we have two interest rate decision, three, I'm sorry, Tuesday from Australia, Thursday from Switzerland and UK, right? So that's on Thursday. As you could see, that decision makes the whole day pretty much. Friday, we have retail sales from UK, PMI numbers from Germany and European Union, PMI numbers from UK, and PMI numbers from US. So Friday, it's all about PMI numbers here and retail sales from UK. Okay, so again, this is economic calendar. You can look through it. You can see what's relevant for you. You can adjust it and so on. Okay. Let's move to the terminal, and we'll start with indices. Again, it was very strong. Last week, just to bring it up, last week we had a decision from the Feds. As expected, there were no interest rate change. There was press conference that everybody was watching. I was watching it. in a big picture, it sounds like nothing is new. It's all data dependent. They'll be watching it and so on. But market took it as we're still having interest rate cuts this year. We don't know when, we don't know how much. There are different opinions. The members of the committee are not the same page pretty much. Some say we'll have one, some say we'll have two, some say we have none as far as the cuts for this year. So we'll find out, I guess, later on what's happening. Nevertheless, market's been strong. We'll take a look at the US indices right here. We'll start from the weakest. Dow Jones has been weak. The few stocks that they're pushing it down. As you could see here, the peak was back in March. Since then, we really didn't manage to go back there. S&Ps this week brought us to a brand new highs. If you take a daily chart, we actually had few spikes and closing the last 3 days of the week closing pretty much in the same levels here. 54.36, 54.37.75, and 54.35. So S&Ps, it looks like we did close at the highs for the week, but the last 3 days with a few attempts to go higher, we actually at the flat line. Nasdaq, on the other hand, just made a brand new high on daily basis. We did close at the high, and I think the last 30 minutes of the day, it was a run. We did close at the highs on the weekly and the daily chart, and of course, a lot of it to do with NVIDIA, also Apple and other stocks that are AI related. We'll talk about them when we get to the stocks. So that's the US. Germany, it doesn't look so great. We had Thursday and Friday sell-off, and we came to the level here that we might be looking for some kind of support also, which is broke below 100 moving average. So we're below 50 and 100, and we did close below the previous support here at 1832. We did dive briefly below 18,000. You could see here we were at 17,959 and closed just a little bit above 18,003. So that's on Germany. UK index as well doesn't look so strong, but we are holding to this previous support around here, unlike on German DAX. Let's take a look at Chinese index. It also doesn't do so great. As you could see here, if you remember, we discussed, excuse me, we discussed a few times that the government is taking some measures to recover or to help economy recover. The index did great for a while, and after peaking here, excuse me for my throat. After peaking here on May 20th, we've been sliding lower, making lower lows and lower highs. Friday was a bounce here, but we are currently below the series level of 12,270 around here. Just to point it out, 2023, the sell-off was initiated from here. Then we came was a lot of fighting around this level. After we moved higher, came right back below. So as of now, the 12,272 right here, it's the resistance for us. Let's see how market will play from here. And of course, with this, as you know, I mentioned usually 4 assets that are sensitive to China. That's crude oil, copper, and 2 commodity currencies, as they call it, Australian and New Zealand dollar. So let's take a quick look at them. Crude oil has been sitting here about between the 200 and the 50 moving average after a recent bounce here. So it looks kind of strong, but facing resistance around these levels. Copper has been weak since making these highs on May 20th. And funny, it's the same day, right? May 20th, we said China turned around. Let's take a quick look again. China, where are you? Here we go. May 20th, the sell-off started, and the same thing on copper. After peaking on May 20th, we've been sliding. So it's really strong correlation there. Important to notice. Australian dollar has been trading, zigzagging around this level here, around 0.66, and New Zealand dollar has been also zigzagging, but we're sitting pretty much at the same levels, around current level 61.40. Let's just draw the line so it'll be visual to us. You could see here, if you go back, a lot of actions around these levels. Here we stopped this advanced move around this level where we are now. We moved higher, and this was a strong sell-off here on the 7th of June. Came right back, and we are where we started. So these current levels on both Australian and New Zealand dollar are key levels here. Okay, so let's move to stocks. I'm going to just switch to the MT5, and let's take a look at our heroes. Here comes the NVIDIA. So the price already adjusted after the split. As you know, here we started the week at around 120, closed 131.70. It's unstoppable, just vertical going higher. Apple had this conference starting on Monday, and they revealed details about AI and the new products and so on. As you could see, the whole week, the stock's been very strong. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Very strong range. The range for the week was from 192 to 220. That's $28. Of course, we retraced a little bit and closed at 212. So Apple looking very strong. It was suffering for a while, as you could see here, and then we start moving higher. And this week give a lot of boost. The AI-based boost, as everything else with the AI in it, has been super attractive. And some analysts warning us. I showed you the article that it's not all about AI. Okay, so that's Apple. Now, three companies were reporting earnings, as we mentioned: Oracle, Broadcom, and Adobe. So let's take a quick look at them. Adobe, good earnings, were gapped. The last 2 days was a little bit of a correction here. Broadcom, the same thing. We gapped and then corrected, and Friday we moved higher. I think it's Broadcom that actually are talking or have specifics on their stock split following NVIDIA. So I'll update you whenever I have more details. Adobe, the same thing. They reported on Thursday, so Friday was a gap and a small correction. Adobe in general wasn't or hasn't been doing so great, but this earnings really helped. We came right at the level of March 20th so far. Okay, so that's as far as the big guys. Also, let's take a quick look at Meta. It's far from being at the top. It's been sitting, consolidating here around here. Amazon actually sold this week, the last 3 days. Tesla, as we said, is where is it now? The last 2 days was a sell-off. After the gap, we did close the gap. We are right on 100-day moving average, and let's see how this latest boost of numbers, potential numbers, might affect the stock. So we'll be watching Tesla going forward. The three losers, let's take a look at them that we mentioned for a few weeks now. Intel, very strong company, but lately it's been really killed. on lack of profits, and projections are coming a few years down the road as far as the profits. So as of now, the stock is really weak. Has on the Nasdaq making new highs, the stock has no energy. So we'll continue watching it. Disney about to close this gap. Also a lot of downside pressure here. This level was on February 7th. And we slowly getting there to closing that gap, also approaching the 200 day moving average at 97.70 currently. So it's could be another $1.50 potentially, or if we completed this closing gap, we might see the move. But the stock has a lot of downside pressure here. Nike as well. It's been weak. We are finding some support around 50-day moving average here. So also banks, let's take a quick look at the banks. JP Morgan, after making highs here, slowly we've been sliding lower. We are trading below 50-day moving average here. Goldman Sachs, same picture. We are trading above the 50 though. Citigroup, also pressure to the downside. Bank of America looks a little bit stronger here. So the banking sector, after recent moves to the highs, has been correcting to the downside a little bit. And very important, I just realized, if you remember, I mentioned to you that oil's been acting strong here since we reached this level here on June 4th of 72.5 almost. But I realized that Exxon and Chevron are not doing so great. They are continuing lower. And here comes Exxon right on 200 moving average here. So we'll continue watching oil. If we do have continuation oil going up and we've reached the 200 moving average here, we might see some moves on Exxon. And Chevron is even weaker. We are below the 200 moving average here. And so we'll continue watching these stocks together with oil. All right, moving to commodities. As we spoke already about oil, so we are between the 250 moving average. After this extended move on the 10th, was a strong move to the upside, we are holding at the top range of that candle. So technically it looks bullish. If we are continuing higher, we might hit that 80 level. If we dive below 200 moving average, again, we might be sliding lower. Natural gas is weak after making pretty much significant move lately. Here we go. We started from around $1.52, and we hit briefly this past week. We hit 315. The beginning of the week, we actually started the week with hitting 315 on the 11th, and the last 3 days of the week we've been sliding. So let's see how natural gas does now. Here, we just 50-day moving average broke above the 200. As you know, some analysts are paying attention to this, and there's a specific name to it called a golden cross. So theoretically, this could be a signal for buying, as this is the opposite when the 50 moves below, called dead cross. That's the signal, potential signal to selling. So this is a good sign for natural gas. Maybe after some correction, we don't really know where and when it's going to stop, we might see continuation to the upside in natural gas. Gold. Interesting. This week, gold went up, dollar went up, and market went up. All three. So it's a little bit confusing. Somebody's lying. I always have this conspiracy. Okay, just to mention, gold. Where are you? Here we go. Gold's been holding strong. We are approaching this level of 23.33 that we fought a lot here. So we're still below it, trying to break above. So gold, as you could see, closed at the highs for the week almost. Let's see how we continue this upcoming week. Copper, as we said, copper has been selling with China. So let's just set up approximate support around these levels here. As you could see, we did try to break below around 444, and every time we hit, we bounce. So it could be that we hold here. We'll continue watching. Palladium has been weak. We did break. If you remember, 950 was a strong level that we were trading around for a long time. Since we broke below, we established a new resistance even lower at around 925. We did close at 890, 370, and if we continue sliding, we might be facing and challenging this support around here at around 850, 860 area. It's a lot of downside pressure here, so we'll be watching palladium. Coca, it's been a roller coaster here. We moved higher. Just to remind us, especially new people, there's a physical shortage of cocoa, and it's all about West Africa where it mostly grows. And it's been moving crazy percentage here from the beginning of the year. Just to give you an idea, we were at a little bit above 4,000, and then we went to 11,700. That was back on 19th of April. Since then, we had a sell-off that took us to around 7,000. Then retraced, came back to retest. We had the multiple retest of this 7,000 level. And since then, we started to move up on 21st of May. Nice move up all the way to 10,000 again. And then we gapped. I think this was a new contract. We covered the gap immediately the next few days this past week. Friday was super volatile for coca. We, as you could see, this candle here, we went below 9,000, went to 89.52. From the 10,000 and then closed at 96.98. So what I would do, I would watch that Friday high, 10,162, and the Friday low at 89.52. Just fix this really quick. So this is our latest range, which is a huge range pretty much. That's why we'll be watching it. I've just removed, I'm gonna remove all other noise so it wouldn't bother us. Okay, so here you go. We are between 10,162 and 89.52. This is the range of Friday. As you could see here, the previous 2 weeks of action was kind of collected within one day on Friday. So something's happening. It's either we're going to move higher and confirm the tops, or it could be that this is the top here, and we'll go and retest the recent lows. So cocoa, very important. We're going to watch now. Sugar. We've been talking about sugar, if you remember, and we said that this 1915 level was holding. Then we broke, and we came almost to 18. Take a look here, right? And this past week, we actually came up, and we did close above that level again after a lot of actions here. Let's see on the weekly chart, how many weeks is that? So we had about 4 or 5 weeks trading below this 1915 level, and it's showing some strength. The whole week we're pretty much moving higher, and we did close above the 50-day moving average here. So it could be that some traders might consider re-entering the buy positions here around 1915. There was a lot of accumulation here, and some sellers were disappointed the moment we came back above the 1915 and closing above the 50-day moving average. So let's watch that. On the monthly chart, as you could see, it's clearly there was a lot of accumulation here, and then we shoot up to the highs, and then we came to the same level this past month, and May looks strong as we're trying to bounce back up. So that's as far as sugar, and that concludes our commodities reviews. And let's move to Forex. We start as usual with dollar index, and that's what I mentioned to you. We did close at the highs on gold. We did close at the highs on markets, especially Nasdaq technology, and we did close at the highs on US dollar. So something is very unusual. I don't know what to say, what to comment about it, but something will give in the upcoming weeks. So here comes dollar. We did come back to 105.5. We even moved higher, but then retraced a little bit. So we are at these levels. This is where the sell-off started, mid-November of last year. A lot of actions around here, and we're back to that level again to retest. Now let's go through majors. Of course, if dollar is higher, so the major currencies should be selling the last 2 days. Besides the Swiss franc, I'm going to show it to you in a moment. So here comes euro dollar. We're at 107. Pound, same thing. We rejected 128, the top of the range. If you remember, I mentioned a few times that our major range is between 126 and 128. After the spike on Wednesday, we did rejected that level, and then we sold. Dollar yen. Of course, yen is very tricky. We just had another meeting with Bank of Japan, no changes. And take a look. It looks like this level here on 157, 157.5. It's been holding here. We did have a few spikes up. USD CAD also, it would probably move higher, but the oil prices added some strength to Canadian dollar. Looks like it. So we are sitting on these levels here on USD CAD. By the way, serious levels around the current levels you can see here. Support, resistance, a lot of action. So around 137.40, 137.30, the current levels are serious levels for USD CAD. As we mentioned, Aussie is facing resistance here. New Zealand dollar is kind of glued to this level for a long time, 160, 140. And here comes Swiss franc. Shows a lot of strength. As dollar is getting strong, Swiss franc is even stronger. So this past few days, we can definitely say that it looks like Swiss franc is the strongest currency, which is interesting because they did cut, and they have another decision coming up this week. So Swiss franc remains to be strong. And take a look, instead of going higher here as dollar got stronger against the Swiss franc, dollar actually moved lower. USD Hungarian forint. If you remember, we mentioned it in the past few times, and I totally missed this thing, but it's worth noticing here. We are facing this resistance at the current levels again. It could be, if dollar remains strong and continues being stronger, we might break out of it. We did try actually. So if you set up this level here, the previous high, 373.06. So we did break through it and came right back. So we'll be watching that. It's not mostly traded currency, but technically it looks very interesting here. Of course, the opposite scenario, we can just come right back like we did here. And we'll be watching actually how we trade around this level, 373. And USD ZAR as well, on the strength of a dollar, it went lower against the ZAR. So we did have some strength from the South African currency. If you remember, there were elections on 29th of May, somewhere here. 29 ZAR fell, so dollar went higher. We reached the current peak on the 6th of June, almost hitting 19. The high of 1899.68, and since then we are sliding lower here, so we'll continue watching ZAR as well. And let's take a quick look at Japanese yen against other currencies. So as I said, Swiss franc, super strong, which is easily broke after consolidation. It just easily broke the previous high here of the end of April. We are all the way up 176.73. Let's see the weekly chart. We are all the way in the skies. So Japanese yen is definitely weaker against the Swiss franc. Australian dollar is struggling to break above here. Canadian dollar also struggling to make the high. So yen is in a very tricky situation here. Again, a lot of people are expecting the strength, and that would be triggered by some actions of Bank of Japan. Some say it's going to be some intervention. Some expecting the Bank of Japan sooner or later start increasing the interest rate. As you know, after 17 years of not doing it, the past month or so, 2 months, they increased it. They brought it to zero level. It was negative 0.01. So as you could see, it's really holding in the very strategic current levels against all the currencies. The only currency that really shows significant strength against the yen is the Swiss franc, as it's being strong across the board. So we'll continue watching the yen as well. And let's take a look at Bitcoin. Really, we're sitting right on 50-day moving average. We had double top here, as you know, in May. We hit 70, almost 71 and a half. May 20th. The magical number. If you remember, China sold from here. Beginning of June, 3 days in a row, we tried to break that level. We couldn't, and we sold, and then we went below this trend line that we drew a while ago, and we are below the 100 and right on 50-day moving average, and right above the 65 and a half. That was our lower range of the channel. Okay, so we'll continue watching Bitcoin. As you could see here, we've been sitting right on 50-day moving average. Okay, so that concludes our webinar. Just to put it all together, just to remind you that if you do trade US shares, the US markets are going to be closed on Wednesday. Important to know. The commodity and indices futures, they're going to be trading short sessions. So please look for the details at trading info and the holiday schedule on our website, avatrade.com. We have an important week with the announcements. We have 3 interest rate decisions, starting with Australia and then Switzerland and UK. So definitely we'll be watching those currencies and the equity indices for those parts of the world as well. We'll be watching Tesla after that big announcements of potential $30 trillion down the road. We'll be continue watching Apple on the recent moves. Definitely NVIDIA as it goes and makes new highs and pulls the technology index with it. I want to wish everyone a good weekend, whatever it's left. Enjoy it, get some energy, prepare yourself for the upcoming week, have a plan, control your risk, be happy, all the best. Take care.